have a pre-existing condition that I need to confess. I believe to my core, at a cellular level, that if you work, you should enjoy full financial security in California. Like so many in my generation, I grew up raised by a single mom in a low-income household in Orange County. And like so many in my generation, I've never really known my father. I haven't talked to him in 20 years. And like so many in our state, my mom lost our family home to foreclosure. My mom inspired my progressivism. She taught me that we are all created with meaning to serve and make the world better. Only because of a lot of financial aid was I able to make my way to Harvard. And I had to start my career in the financial industry because I needed to support my mom in California and provide financial security for her. And I saw at the beginning of my career what we all saw from a degree of distance, that the financial industry came to serve itself and an obsession with profits instead of people. I moved back to California and I've spent most of my career here trying to fix things because my generation actually cares about fixing things. We see so many things moving so fast in the innovation economy, so much possibility, but all we hear from our politics is, you can't fix this. And the biggest thing that has to be fixed is the California of Beverly Hills and Pacific Heights is not the California that almost everyone else experiences. Did you know that 3 out of 4 Californians couldn't absorb a $700 surprise expense? Now think about that for a second. 3 out of 4 Californians are a blown tire, a busted pipe, or a broken wrist from financial crisis. Pause for a second on the times in your life when you've been on the edge financially. Think about the uncertainty that gripped you, always wondering and worrying and looking over your shoulder. That's what life is like every day, every hour for 3 out of 4 Californians. You know, the progressive rhetoric we hear on CNN about California as the leader of the resistance just sadly doesn't match the reality for most Californians. We have supermajorities in our legislature, but we leave a supermajority of Californians living paycheck to paycheck. There's something we can actually do about this right now. It's called the Earned Income Tax Credit. It's one of the most effective economic security programs of the last 35 years. It's lifted tens of millions of low-income people into the middle class in the last 35 years, including the family I grew up in. And in 2015, thanks to Governor Brown's leadership, California started its own state earned income tax credit. And in that time, the Cal EITC has helped over 800,000 kids. But there's a bug in the Cal EITC. It doesn't cover self-reported income. Now, self-reported income is the kind of income you earn when you keep a house, garden, maybe drive for one of the ride-sharing companies. It's the fastest growing kind of income in California. In fact, all of the job growth in California over the last 15 years has come from self-reported income. Let me be super clear. Self-reported income is legal, it is allowable, it is disproportionately earned by women and people of color, and it is not eligible for the state's earned income tax credit. This is not about just dollars and cents on a budget line. You know, I think every day about a family I met in Southgate when we were doing Cal EITC outreach. I asked families there in Southgate, what does the earned income tax credit mean to you? And this young girl, she was about 8, named Anna, came up to me and she said, the EITC means that my dad doesn't have to work as much, that he can spend more time with me. Fellow Democrats, these are the stakes. It's not about just what is reduced to a variable in a Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. It is the tens of millions of California families that are relying on us. California could be the best hope for our country, the best progressive hope for the future, but it's not yet. The 3 out of 4 Californians who are a surprise expense away from crisis need solutions, not improvements, by 10%. As I think over the last 30 years since I was a kid and reflect on what's changed, I realize it's this. It's just harder than ever for most Californians to get ahead. We could be the best progressive hope for the future. We have to finally harness now the will that we have lacked, the will to act, so that we are the best progressive hope for everyone. Thank you.
All my life I've been waiting.